This is Andre the Game Idea Guy. Thank you very much for lending me your time and your ear, listening into another video from me. And this one, like I've been at odds with myself about doing this, but I decided I'm going to do a video about gimmicks and what they really mean. Now, the examples I give are going to be off the top of my head. I'm not thinking ahead about any of this shit that I'm saying. Like, I'm just telling you straight from my point of view what a gimmick is and how people are using the term in the incorrect manner. Firstly, then this should be the easiest thing to figure out. But your gimmick is your hook. A gimmick is a hook. A gimmick literally is the thing that is supposed to draw people into something. A gimmick isn't meant to repel you. It's meant to pull you in. So if you say, oh, Wii Remote's a gimmick and I don't like gimmicks, you don't understand the word. You truly do not understand the word. Again, Wii U Gamepad, a gimmick. But if you're using it in a sense to say it's a gimmick because I don't like it or I don't care for how it's used, incorrect usage. And the thing is, in the music world, your gimmick is your style. It's your hook. It's what makes you a quality artist for people to be interested in. It's the thing that draws people into you. In wrestling, another form of entertainment that they use gimmicks. What the fuck do you think someone being what do you think it is when a wrestler is a heel or damn, I forgot the term for just them being a good guy, whatever. When someone's a heel, that's their hook as a wrestler. That's their gimmick as a wrestler. Or when they do wild shit like the Dudleys do with the tables, that's their hook. That's their fucking gimmick. That's their thing. That's what it is. That's what draws you in. That's the thing that attracts you to it. If the gimmick doesn't work for you, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to work for everybody, but a gimmick is what draws someone in. That's what a gimmick is. Just like triggers, analog triggers, though I don't have one of my GameCube controllers in front of me because I was going to grab one. Analog triggers, that was a gimmick that was on the GameCube controller. The D-pad, that was a gimmick on the NES controller. Shoulder buttons, that was a gimmick on the SNES controller. 4 face buttons is another gimmick on the SNES controller. But it made playing the games a lot more fun because you had more options and control for how you were playing the game. That's to me what a gimmick is. Gimmick is just the thing that draws you in. It's just the thing that draws you to it. Just like Xbox One has the gimmick of damn it. I know graphics would be one of them. Better graphics would definitely be one of the gimmicks. Having more console power would definitely be one of the gimmicks. I guess you would say their network infrastructure, that's definitely one of their gimmicks. They're better gimmicks because that's something that draws people to them. Because they look at Xbox Live and like, that's a really good infrastructure for playing our games on. That's one major reason people buy Xbox consoles. Sony's gimmick at this point in time is having the most powerful console and having the quote-unquote best versions of third-party games, where I don't really believe that's possible when you have PC and you got mods and all sorts of other shit happening on the PC end. But that's, to me, that doesn't make it plausible. The 3DS's gimmick was having a stereoscopic 3D. That was one of the draws for it. They kind of cut that out with the 2DS, but they made it way cheaper doing that for people who just didn't give a fuck about the 3D or didn't really care for the clamshell design of the 3DS as it was. So the 2DS's hook is being the 3DS without being the 3DS. It works. People buy it. People buy it on a daily basis. People are out buying them right now. So when you call something a gimmick because you don't like it or because it's not popular, why do you do that? Because if you're only basing it off of popularity, Oh man. Here's the thing to think about: the standard controller is a gimmick in and of itself. People are pushing for that because that's the popular notion, right? That's the popular notion. Would that not be a gimmick to draw you in if someone came out with a console? Just say Samsung out of nowhere decides that they're going to put out a console, call it the Eclipse. Like again, right off the top of my head, I had no fucking forethought into that. But Samsung comes out with a console, they call it the Eclipse, and it's going to have the standard four face buttons. It's going to have the standard four shoulder buttons with the two bumpers and the two analog triggers. It's going to have the standardized two analog sticks on the front of the controller. They'll just be slightly placed different. It's going to have the standard D-pad. It's going to have the standard home button on it, and the standardized start and select or whatever other fucking names they want to give these buttons. It's going to have all that shit. It'll have all of that, and then it'll have 12 gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM. It'll have a GTX 980 customized GTX 980 Ti customized CPU. No, not CPU. I said CPU. I meant GPU. Damn, fuck that up completely. And let's see, what CPU can we give it? What CPU can we give it? Fuck whatever. It'll just say it has a an i7 4690. Think that's one. I think that's one. I might be wrong on that. I think that's one. It'll have it'll have four USB 3.0 ports. It'll come with 1 terabyte internal hard drive. And the controller will have a headphone jack as well as for just to have the sound for the gameplay through it, as well as a separate jack for using a headset with a with a microphone on it. Okay, that's just the generic layout of the console. And one of its hooks, one of its gimmicks would be, I'm trying to think of something that hasn't been done yet that I know people would kind of cling to. Because the standard controller itself would be one kind of hook that would get a bunch of people kind of interested. Let's say their hook is that they have made an exclusivity deal with Ubisoft, and for throughout that generation, they are the only console that you will see Ubisoft games on. That would be another gimmick. That would be their hook. That would be something to draw people in, because there are people who are fans of Ubisoft that will follow Ubisoft games wherever they go. I don't know how big of a fan base that is, but there are people that would follow it wherever it went. VR is another gimmick. I'm not saying it's a bad gimmick, but it's another gimmick. So what my understanding is that people want to use the term in a way that demeans something. When all it is, when you're calling something a gimmick, you're calling it the hook. Here's another hook. Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, which is supposed to be coming out later this year. What is the main hook to that game? What is the main gimmick to that game? The answer is the fact that you can make your own character in a Dragon Ball game. That is the biggest hook to that shit. You can make your own character that has importance to the story. You can basically put yourself in the game and make yourself a part of the story. That is the hook to Dragon Ball Xenoverse. And it's a successful hook. It's a successful gimmick because people bought that shit out in droves. And it is the most successful Dragon Ball game to date. That was the hook. That was their gimmick. And that's what people bought. So when you run around saying, "Oh, this is a gimmick, this is a gimmick," use the shit the right fucking way. At least use it the right way. Why do we have to Why do we have to take words that have an already established meaning and try to flip the shit for no apparent reason other than it suits our egos? I'm not understanding that. Like, I really am not understanding that. Like, and you can hate gimmicks. I will thoroughly enjoy them no matter what platform they are on, because those are the reasons I'm buying into those platforms. That's the reason I'm buying these consoles, so I can get these games. That's the reason. Recent purchase, and one I know I'm going to love the shit out of, Project Cross Zone. The Gimmick is merging Capcom, Namco Bandai, and Sega. 3 companies I fucking have loved and had a deep childhood with. The hook, the gimmick, was putting characters from each of those respective companies into a game together. That was the hook for the first game. That was the same gimmick for the first game. And people bought the shit like crazy because that's what they wanted. That was the gimmick. Is it getting through to people now? Is it penetrating people now? Not penetrating people. Shit, I said that wrong. Is it penetrating your skull now? Is it understandable at this point? If it's not, then sorry, my words are lost on you. That's really it. That's all I've got to say. So thank you everybody for listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more of my stuff. Until the next time, enjoy your games.